Masturbation, is it a sin according to the Bible? The Bible does not mention masturbation or state whether or not masturbation is a sin. The passage most frequently associated with masturbation is the story of Onan in Genesis chapter 38 verse 9 to 10. Some interpret this passage to say that spilling your seed is a sin. However, that is not what the passage is saying. God condemned Onan not for spilling his seed but because Onan was rebellious. Onan refused to fulfill his duty to provide an heir for his deceased brother. The passage is not about masturbation but about fulfilling a family obligation. A second passage sometimes used as evidence that masturbation is a sin is Matthew chapter 5 verse 27 to 30. Jesus speaks against having lustful thoughts and then says, "If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away." While there is clearly a connection between lustful thoughts and masturbation, it is unlikely that Jesus was alluding to the specific sin of masturbation in this passage. The Bible nowhere explicitly states that masturbation is a sin, but there is no question that the actions that usually lead to masturbation are sinful. Masturbation is nearly always the result of lustful thoughts, inappropriate sexual stimulation, and pornography. It is these problems that need to be dealt with. If the sins of lust, immoral thoughts, and pornography are forsaken and overcome, masturbation will become much less of an issue and temptation. Many people struggle with guilt concerning masturbation, when, in reality, they would be far better off repenting of the sins that lead them to masturbate. With that said, is masturbation itself a sin? While the Bible does not directly answer this question, there definitely are some biblical principles that can be applied to the issue. First, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God, 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31. If we cannot give God glory for something, we should not do it. Second, everything that does not come from faith is sin, Romans chapter 14 verse 23. If we are not fully convinced that an activity is honoring to God, it is a sin. Third, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19 to 20. Our bodies have been redeemed and belong to God. Fourth, the fruit of the Spirit is self-control, Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 to 23. Masturbation is almost always a sign of a lack of self-control. These great truths should have a powerful impact on what we do with our bodies. In light of these principles, many conclude that masturbation is always sinful. Masturbation is a questionable activity, at best, whether it can glorify God, whether it can be done in absolute confidence that it is right, and whether it can honor God as the owner of our bodies. If done with absolutely no lust, immoral thoughts, or pornography, with full assurance that it is good and right, with thanks given to God for the pleasure it brings, is it still a sin to masturbate? The most we can say is maybe not. However, we have serious doubts whether this scenario ever truly exists.